Actually, I'm glad that question got to go before me because it gets to highlight the seriousness of what we're actually seeing and the racism that gets to be sprouted on this campus. Why? Okay. That gets to be sprouted on this campus without any sort of reproach or any sort of response from the university. And this is really timely, and I'm glad the president got to speak about the fact that this is not, he feels that York University is not different from anywhere else, and it's not different because within the 2 days that we've seen within the 2 days of the
we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, really, because it dies on me here. Within the 2 days of the police being on this campus, they've been carting and stopping every single young black man they can get their hands on. So he's right, it is like the rest of Toronto, because that's what police do in the rest of Toronto. They stop every single black man they get to see. So, and this is especially timely because we have a hard time believing, and this coalition here that is here, have a hard time believing that police are here to promote security and safety, and it seems that it's really used as a guise because the history of York University has shown that whenever police have been on this campus, it's been to quell dissent, it's here to quell protest and demonstration. There's a long history of police brutalizing people right here on this campus who tried to actively speak against that. In fact, when Excalibur's student newspaper got to write an article that spouted exactly the same thing we just heard in this question, saying that all the crimes happen because they come from Jane and Finch and doesn't get to provide any statistics, it gets to just rely on the stereotypes that people believe, then we say that there's a bigger problem here than just safety and security, and that if you really care about addressing the safety and security concerns of the community, you would address the demands that our coalition has. And I would like to actually put them to you. But first, I would like to know, since we have high-ranking officials here from York University, will York University, for once and for all, finally apologize to the Jane and Finch community and the larger racialized community for the espousing of these racist remarks that have gone unresponded to by Mr. Shukri and the rest of the York University administration? And the second set of expectations we have of York University is that if you truly care about building substantial, deep partnerships with communities such as Jane and Finch and other racialized communities, we would say that, one, to do that, you would provide free education to all black students and non-white students because of the history of colonialism and imperialism that has been inflicted in Canada and that York University has been complicit in. And by bringing Toronto Police Service onto this campus, it is spoken to that. Will they provide substantial funding finally for African Caribbean and other critical studies departments to truly address the root causes and actually provide a critical education so my friend here in the front can actually get an education where it doesn't get to say that Jane and Finch is the one committing all these crimes? Will they finally, York University has one of the largest black student populations in Canada, probably next to Dalhousie, and there's not a single black studies department. In fact, all we hear are budget concerns, and when the majority of the students who come here, when a quite large portion of the students that come here come from Jane and Finch and take courses such as race, ethnicity studies, and African American studies, will York finally fund a black studies department and put their money where their mouth is? And so these are and I want to hear from York finally responding to this. That's it. I got it, Rhonda. That's it. Go ahead.
Okay. So you raised some good points that although you also appreciate that you're extending the issues a little bit beyond the okay. Okay. You know what? We're not gonna. Yeah. Okay. I'm really coming. I'm coming here to encourage a real open discussion. And there needs to be mutual respect in the room, and I'm asking you for that. Okay. So Yvette has raised some really important points, and I'm calling him by his first name because we just spoke yesterday, and so I hope that's okay. You can also call me Rhonda. You need to be equitable here. I want to say, on behalf of the York University administration, that there is, on the one hand, a need to protect the academic rights of people in terms of what their arguments might be. I do not support the views that were expressed in Excalibur, and I think that particular piece that you're referring to was very unhelpful and divisive. And that's not what we want to be doing at this university. We want to be working together collaboratively. So let me just start off by saying that publicly. Now, are there members of the panel who would like to respond? President Shukri?
I certainly do. First of all, let me go back to something the provost just said. which is, please, let's not make this as an issue that will be divisive, and listen and try and listen to each other very carefully, and try and listen to what I'm going to tell you, or I will talk to you as I always do, frankly, and I want you to listen. If you agree, no disruptions, so that we can get going with the meeting. But let me start by saying, first of all,
You just kicked me out of your office last week when I tried to raise these same
what was that?
Yes, that.
You just kicked me out of your office last week on November 12th.
Yes, I did. I did not kick you out, but let me.
Yes, that.
Please don't do what you did then, where you create a side issue. Let me answer the question, because you asked. I wish you told me what you what you told me today, because you refused. You refused. You insisted on. Walked into my office, which I was happy to talk to you. You insisted on videotaping me, and I said, "Put that down and let's have a talk." You refused. That's when I asked you to leave. So let's leave that, because I'm not going to take this against you. You know why? Because you raise a very important issue. You raise a very important issue, and I'm glad you raised it, because I want to talk about it. You raise a very important issue and a very serious issue. This issue, particularly the element of racial profiling. This issue has been identified for a long time as a serious issue. On a personal level, I understand it, and once in a while I'm reminded of it at a personal level. You just you don't need to go very far. You have to think of my ethnic and religious background and what people of my type have seen since 9/11. I'm not making comparisons. I'm not making equivalency, because it does not go as far as the history you're referring to. It is deep, it is serious, and it is real. And nobody can sympathize from outside that particular group more than I think I can. So let me establish that very clearly. Second is that this university, you ask for apology. The university never, ever, never an official of the university, otherwise I would have dealt with it myself. Never, ever an official of this university, representing this university, accepted an issue other than total and absolute inclusivity. York University is part of a broader community. You asked about the definition. First of all, you should go back to what I said, because I chose my words carefully. I talked about community.